other. Can you share a little bit about how volunteering, because I saw how so many new RAs like really quickly found their space. How does volunteering for NCURA or in any role like enhance your ability to build those relationships?
I think volunteering is a fantastic way to get involved and to get to know people, mainly because it gives you a reason to talk to people that you otherwise might have to come up with reasons on your own to talk to them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty introverted, and I'm not shy, but I'm very introverted, and so I'm not inclined to just walk up and start chatting with someone. But if I know who they are, and I have a question for them, or if I want to ask them to do something to help out, or I want to commend them on a presentation that they gave. It just gives you an opening. And, I know that we'll probably talk about this later, but there are there's a huge spectrum of volunteer opportunities, and some of them are just super simple, no experience needed. You work at the registration table, and then you
Hmm.
get to interact with every single person who's registered for the conference. And you get to put names to faces, and they can do the same for you.
Hmm.
And it's just a great jumping off point for some of those conversations that can turn into something more.
What about, so like you mentioned that, because that's a really good one, by the way, because then you get to meet everyone, and then it's almost like you know everybody, like without just because you gave them their name tags. But what are some of the other? Because you mentioned there's like there, and there really is. Over the years, I've volunteered in so many different capacities. What are some of the ways in which people can get involved? If so, someone's like, "All right, I'm in Ankura, I want to get involved, but I don't want to work at the table." Like, what are some other areas that they can get involved in?
Sure. I personally take a really broad perspective on what counts as volunteering, and I think that NCURA does
Hmm.
as a whole. And I think that there's a huge spectrum of volunteer opportunities depending on what your area of expertise is, what your experience is, what your capacity is in terms of how much time you want to spend getting involved in the organization, and just what your personal preferences are. So I think it's important to remember that even things like presenting on a topic at a conference counts as volunteering, writing an article for NCURA's newsletter or their magazine, all that counts as volunteering. Um, Volunteering for a committee at the regional level or the national level. Uh, if you are a little more experienced, and I think that for someone who's just starting to get involved, that all of those are good opportunities. But just to speak for a moment on some of the sort of larger scale opportunities, you can lead committees after you've been around for a while. You can run for offices at the regional level. You can
Hmm.
get involved at the national level with some of their committees. Um, and once you have a lot of experience, you can become an NCURA peer reviewer and go to different institutions and help to evaluate and improve the programs at their
I want to
institutions.